past year or so, I've been doing a ton of filmmaking with my iPhone, and especially a lot of traveling too. In fact, quite often on a lot of the trips I've been going on recently, I've pretty much been ditching my cameras and leaving them at home and just taking my iPhone. And typically what I do is I grab my iPhone 17 Pro, and before that I had an iPhone 16 Pro. I would always use this freewell case because it enables me to attach on a ND filter like this freewell one here, which is really, really awesome. And then I attach this Manfrotto tripod clamp, which just goes right onto the back of the phone. And I don't really use it to actually attach to any tripods, although it has a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom here that enables me to attach it to a tripod. I mainly use it as a grip for my hands, I guess. So that's pretty much the setup, but most oftenly my storage solution has been this little Lexar Go attachment here, which is as wonderful as it is. I have had quite a few problems with it. The main one is that whenever I do forget this little U-shape adapter here, which I did on my America trip, the problem is that I end up having a setup that looks like this. And because the iPhone 17 Pro just came out, didn't really have much gear on me, the setup looks like this, which is just like, it's really hard to do handheld stuff, and that's pretty much what I shot everything, all of my open gate footage for. And even when I do have the Lexar kind of plugged into the back here like this, again, it's not an ideal solution. Again, if I just move this up, it moves around all the time, it shifts and everything, and yeah, if I lose this, it's not great, and it's also kind of uncomfortable having this here. So yes, I've been trying to perfect this setup really, and in comes along a company called Planck. It's pretty much just this guy, this small little thin SSD that is no bigger than a couple, maybe like 6 or 7 millimeters thick, and with a case here, you can just see it plugs straight in, just like that, and now I can shoot ProRes RAW, Apple OpenGate log footage, and it is by far the most comfortable setup that I have found. This is the 2 terabyte model, and you can get it in 1 terabyte. And essentially it provides like the most flush kind of experience to the iPhone. And this is definitely the most compact rig that I have. Now, a lot of people would want to use storage in the end because they just don't have enough storage on the phone. That's not necessarily the case for me. It's great that I have been able to get the 1 terabyte model. However, I just can't shoot OpenGate, which is what I love to shoot on. And this setup really completes that. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the actual specs for this and my experience using the Planck SSD. Number one is that the SSD itself can shoot 4K ProRes up to 120 frames per second. The actual read and write speeds that have been, confirmed by this are around about 1000 at its peak, or 1050. So if you're filming for long periods of time, that's one thing to note and look out for. Now, the one thing that I have tested is that I can shoot ProRes OpenGate, ProRes RAW OpenGate for that matter, up to 48 frames per second in OpenGate. And I'll leave it on screen on the findings that I've found with that at least. The actual design of it is great. It's the thinnest and slimmest SSD that you can use. I think it's also great at plugging it into an iPad, for example, or into the back of a Mac. And you don't have to just use it for iPhone filmmaking. It can really be used as like a regular SSD, which is cool. So another couple things too is that it's claimed to be water resistant, which haven't really tried. I don't want to try because I don't want to ruin it, but in the rain, I'm sure it'll be fine. Everything does seem to be water sealed, and you can drop it up to 3 meters as well, which is a nice bonus. Obviously, when you do plug it into your iPhone, which for example, I'll do just here like this, again, my favorite setup for just filming like this. However, you can see, well, I don't have a USB-C port anymore, which is a bit of a problem. And so if I wanted to plug in a mic now or something else, or a dock, for example, this is really just great if you want to just utilize the SSD and nothing else. So if that's a problem for you, that's one thing to keep in mind. So if you do get this Lexar Go SSD and you get it with the hub pack, essentially like I can plug it in like this, it goes into the back, I can plug in the storage device at the bottom, and now I still have 1 and 2 USB-C ports here. But that is just one thing to keep in mind. If I'm using the Planck SSD, you are ultimately going to just lose the USB-C port on the bottom, and that's all you'll have. So, and my final thoughts, I guess, with the Planck SSD is that it really is the perfect travel SSD, I would say, and filmmaking thing if you don't need to use the USB-C port for anything else. Again, I can use it handheld like this, and it's a super clean setup. I guess another benefit as well is that if I do show you this grip that Sandmark did send me, which is a filmmaking grip, essentially like so, as you can see, just like that. And now I've got a little handheld setup, and I can tuck the phone in just like that. and we're all good to go. But with the Lexar SSD, unless I had it tucked into the back, this wouldn't really be possible. So if I wanted a bit more of a sturdier, handheld setup, the Planck SSD works really great with that too. So anyway, if you have any questions at all about iPhone filmmaking or the gear that I use, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and of course, do take care.